what the topic for this session will be. And we're looking at how digital transformation is changing the game. We have all come from experiences that have given us lots of learnings. And one good thing we can all talk about is we are familiar with traditionally what's happening. And some of us are still sitting in the traditional space. Others have come out of it. But exactly what has been happening there is that the business is the one that has been designing and driving what people need to do. And then the vendors have to come and customize based on what the business has explained to them. The result of that is that we have a very complex environment. And one of the things that we realize is that there are lots of memes that go around about how the techies have been briefed and then what they provide. And of course, other amendments that have to be done or further amendments. And it's just a very complex picture that we see. And we are all alive to the fact that anything that's complex is time consuming. And also it's very expensive. And at the same time, there's a lot of pressure. When people are under pressure, it's very hard for them to even think outside the box. And that's why we say, what are the key components in terms of why people have been successful? Let's look at some of the spaces around us and see what has happened. If you look at the first, we have people who have been very successful, and these are people in the banking and fintech space. And they have now, in China, we have the and this has also been talked about in a previous discussion up there with the top leadership, how innovation has taken this space and how the Chinese people have taken banking to the e-space. And this has been driven by internet. And the other thing that we've also seen is that we have also seen people who are greatly pushing their business to finance other businesses. And we have seen a lot of supply chain financing, SME financing, which has also been a great success, and all this running again or driven by technology. Right where we are, we have mobile money, and this has been a very successful case. And I must give credit to Safaricom, because Safaricom thought outside the box. And the other thing that we're also seeing is that there are digital branches. In as much as we want to ask ourselves what will happen to the physical outlets that have been there, the truth is that there's digital branch which can offer you much more. And even from a business operation perspective, the digital branch is your next space. We need to think about it. What again happened in the year 2021? There are some industries and some sectors that were actually hard hit, but one of those that's most worrying is actually the fintech space. And can you imagine, within a span of 1 hour, 3 banks going down? Think about it. Stock exchange market impacted for 3 hours and trading stops. Of course, there's a lot of panic in the market. And then 4 hours and the central bank cannot get money. That is in the year 2021. And then 10 hours again, 10 hours is massive. Every 1 second that passes, billions of dollars are lost. What can we do? How is digital transformation changing this space? We have seen the traditional styles, which include people who are very service-centric. And now we've also talked about, and it's just been mentioned by Mbogwa and also Harry, that the next space that we're getting into, which is the digital space, what are the key components? People are very integral to that. We need to think about the next space is going to be people-oriented. Customers select the institutions, or consumers are going to be the ones selecting the institutions. Then everything is going to run on the internet. What is needed for this? Stability and innovation. Let's just see if stability has worked for some people. Let's think about stability in our own space and why this is important. This is just a good example of a stable cloud foundation that has been built And it's right here at home, where we have a traditional bank, and you can see how data was sitting in silos. Then what happens, again, if you're trying to do a KYC, it will take time, because then you have to go through different files, sitting in different silos, and then at the same time, this has to be presented before people for decision making. Now, the digital bank was necessary, and for digital bank to come in, then there was a data warehouse, which again helped because we had a lot of innovation that took place. And I've also seen a lot of success based on, it's not just localized, but also you're able to scale out. So one of the great things is that right here at home, we had the bank which was able to achieve that, and the key drivers for it was actually looking and understanding what cloud had to offer. And full stack cloud is one of the best solutions that people can consider. And this is because if you are looking for consistency in your service, if you're looking at 100% compliance, this is available. People have to, again, be alive to the fact that compliance is important. So even when we're building the infrastructure or when we're building the ecosystem, one of the key things that we need to focus on and to ensure that it's delivered to the table is compliance. The other thing is simplifying the O&M, operations and maintenance is very key. If cloud can offer that, I think it's also easier for the people now to focus on what would be core for them in how they can make money. So full stack cloud infrastructure is something that would help you operate the business. Whether you want to do it from a private perspective or from a public perspective, it's basically on the cloud and over the internet. We need a stable infrastructure. What does Africa infrastructure look like? Currently, within Huawei Cloud, we have 3 availability zones in South Africa. We've got 2 points of presence, one here in Kenya and another one in Nigeria. For Kenya, that's home for us. We have 2 dedicated lines that are serving, and that helps improve the latency. If you're looking for the best latency, currently we have the best because we're averaging at least 57 milliseconds. So your uptime, your downtime, and also if you're looking at response, everything will be done pretty fast. We're also planning to bring in more availability zones, and Kenya will be one of the markets that will be prioritized. So again, here at home for fintechs, for anybody who's in that space, this is the right time for you to think about how you can expand your business and how you can make it stable, and what or which partners you can work with for that. We also have a global infrastructure, but I think what is here at home also helps you leverage on what we have globally. So global infrastructure, we're also very strong in it. I've had many people ask about Huawei Cloud, and we have the best experience for you in the fintech space. We have worked with different partners, and we also have the best experience so far, having worked with banks as well as fintechs and startups who have grown really fast. There's also one of the best moments in any organization in the boardroom. When you commit to a timeline, everybody will always think about how much will it cost to deliver, then how much time. When we think about the time, we all want the shortest turnaround time. And again, if you think about playing in the internet space, going cloud, this is your shortest route to how much time it will take you to get to market or to even do iterations. It's very important for us as businesses to always imagine what the world would be if it moved faster than it's moving right now. What the business would be if it moved faster than it is moving right now. What the tasks would look like if they were delivered in a much faster time. So if you want to launch quickly, we have done it before. And GLDB is one of our good partners, and we have delivered for them. It's a very big bank. It's a fast digital bank that was launched in Singapore, and it has grown. In terms of compliance, we have them achieve this because, again, everything, what was required was available. I know data is a big And I think we need to also appreciate the fact that we need to also start building data, because for you to get a data lake, you cannot build a data lake without data. So data is important, and compliance, and this is also one of the key factors that will help us in compliance. We meet and we have met other regulatory requirements that surround compliance. And we also offer dedicated support. Most of the partners who've worked with us, including some of whom are present here in the room, can attest to that. Our support is 24 hours. We rise with the sun, we set with it. We also believe that we need to be at par with the industry players. And our 30 years of experience in building a technology company is not a few years, it's actually a lot of time. We have global expertise in terms of security. Just for our market here, we've done a financial white paper. We have done the first financial white paper in the Kenyan market. And this would help people who are looking at whether we understand the guidelines that regulate the market, and especially in our own space here in Kenya. Huawei has done one. We've also done others. We have a certification globally, and we treat security as one of our top priorities, and we're happy to share with you the confidence that we have when we talk about security being a top priority in Huawei, not just for yourselves, but even for ourselves. It's one of our core values that every day we have to think, breathe. In fact, when you walk in, the first thing that you will come to realize is that you learn about security from the first day, and you live security every single day. So when we are offering this, or when you're partnering with you people and with the businesses, it's security that's top priority. We have local support. We come very close to you. We will sit with you. You create for us space in your office. We'll not build the space. We're there. We come in as experts. We will ensure that there's fast response. It's important that when you're thinking of building the fintech space or growing your fintech space, you need fast response. If you're talking about quick time to market, you cannot achieve that if the response is slow. We are here, we'll come right there. We have the most professional teams. We have experts sitting globally, and we interact with each other every day. We have lots of, we consult amongst ourselves, and we bring this expert advice and support to you, the market. We also have a very comprehensive system, because when you think about the internet, and doing your business or running your business in the internet all over the cloud, you need some good network. For us to be able to deliver that to you, we must first understand that space. We have created a network carrier business, and at the same time, we know that network optimization is very key in when you're scaling, or even just in your normal operations, because when the customers, the user experience is key. When people are just interacting with your product or whatever you want to put out there in the market, the experience they get, one of the key things, because they will obviously use a technology gadget to access your services, is what experience do they get? There's the interface, user interface that you have offered. What experience does it offer them? So the network is very important to support this. And at the same time, we don't just talk about relationships, we talk about partnerships. Partnerships means that you can reach us anytime, and we can support you anytime, and we walk the journey with you. So here in the market, what does the market need? For the future, you need to have a partner who understands what digital transformation is, what innovation is, and to walk the journey with you. Let's see just a few notes about what innovation looks like. Data has to go through innovation. Data is anything and everything. It is as simple as a letter or an alphabet or a number, but it can also be very complex. Now, for this data innovation For complex data, even when you're starting at a very simple level, for complex data, what you need is to build a lakehouse. But essentially, you don't have to go into the details or the nitty-gritties or even spend your time creating some of these infrastructures if there's already a platform that you can use that can help you do it. And this is why we are talking about just use what is existing, what the platforms that are existing, the softwares that are existing. And you will be able now to overcome some of the challenges which include, for example, how do you want to detect fraud? Anybody in the fintech space, fraud is also a priority. You need to think about what's the protection that's out there. We have seen cases that also, right here at home, where people have been hard hit. And in that time, what happens? Every fraud case comes at a cost. So it's very important for us to look at what platform. And in this case, I would like to present to you also, Huawei Cloud just recently launched ransomware protection that is one of its kind in the industry. We are the first with it. If you have some time, you can come to our booth and we're going to walk you through it. We call it MRP, multi-layered ransomware protection. It's also important for us to understand that smart financing will operate on 3 layers, and why these layers are important. And these layers require innovation. There's platform innovation, there's a fintech innovation, and there's going to be ecosystem innovation. You also need people who understand the entire ecosystem. You don't have to delve into the whole of that ecosystem, right? An ecosystem has already been built or created for you. Just go into it and operate from it. I would also like to summarize by saying our best picture of success in the fintech space that's going to transform this space and banking is, 1, people have to innovate. And you innovate with the technology players. That way, you also understand what technology can do for you and take it to market. The other thing that's also important is stability. If you don't have a stable infrastructure, then you're going to run into massive losses. We all want to make sure that we run businesses that can save any penny. And at the same time, also business that can make a lot of money. Scalability. Scalability is very important for us. Everybody wants to grow. When you think of growth, think of scalability. When we are all playing in the same space, going for the same market, going for the same consumers, what will be next? If we feed into the Kenyan market, we need to also think about, can you offer services from Kenya to the region? Can you offer same service that you're offering here? Can you scale them out to the world, to the globe? There's an example, a very good example of WeChat. If you're on WeChat, what can you do? You don't have, it's limitless. You can use WeChat anywhere, not just for communication. You can use WeChat as your e-commerce platform. So even the platforms that we're building here, the applications that you have here, think of how we're going to scale out with them. And to scale out, you also need a very good technology solution that will help you achieve those dreams. Security and compliance. We all understand security. We all understand compliance. To be compliant, one of the key things is people have invested in security experts. At the same time, I'd like to say, sometimes you can also go to those who have done it before. Don't reinvent the wheel. And just learn from them. Get guidance from them. Huawei we guide, and we walk the journey with you. We're going to take you very fast to the market. Our infrastructure is very good, like I've just explained. We have best local support, as attested by some of you who have worked with us, and those of you who are going to experience us, and we'll help you save on costs. Thank you very much for this session.